Hi, I'm Malcolm Grahamwood, and I'm here at Call London for my regular CEO interview slot. Today my guest is Marshall Abbott, the CEO of Arrow Exploration. Great to see you again.
Malcy, it's always great to be here with you, man.
I love talking to you, and we've got lots to talk about. And I'm going to go straight in without the usual tell us about Arrow. At the moment, I think people who are watching this will know the Colombian aspects of it. Please feel free to give a line or two. But I'm going to take it as read that most people know where we are.
Excellent.
So, at the end of last year, you announced a $50 million work program for this year for 23 wells, I think it was, 3D seismic program. So, what do you reckon the highlights are so far? Because you've just announced you're going into a busy period as well. So, how's it gone so far?
Well, so far it's going according to plan. We're, from a production standpoint, 50% higher than we were this time last year. We shot that massive 3D seismic program, and that has turned into liquid gold. So from the perspective of keeping production flat or growing, we're in good shape. The exploration program's about to kick in. In fact, we spud the first exploration well tomorrow, Mataguafa Oeste. So we're pretty excited with that. And another thing that we've invested a lot of time and money in, Malcy, was water disposal. So our operating costs were around $18 a barrel. Now that we have 140,000 barrels of disposal capacity, it's $8 a barrel.
Great. You won't be surprised that I'm going to take those two things separate, ask you individually.
Of course.
Mataguafa Oeste is spudding tomorrow, you say, and it's an exploration well, which is unusual for you, but it's a very important one as far as the market, and I believe in. I know you're going for the Ubaki prospect again, but it's an exploration well. It's a vertical well. What are you hoping for?
So this kind of highlights the scope and repeatability of the play type in the Llanos Basin. We're looking for three-way closure up against a fault.
Same as usual, yeah.
And it's worked throughout the Llanos Basin. High resolution seismic is defining the prospect nicely. So it's nice and thick. We can image reservoir directly. And it's at 10,000 feet to the Ubaki, but we also have this domal structure that goes all the way up to the C7. So I expect to see pay not only in the Ubaki, but in the C7 and potentially the Gachata on the way down.
Right. We're used to that now with you, which is good. The markets are expecting this to be of a significantly bigger in scale to some of the things you've drilled already. From what you just told me, it sounds like it is. Is it potentially massive from what you can see?
So Carrizales Norte was probably the biggest accumulation we found. Alberta Llanos is the smallest. This would be in between.
Right. And so let's just try and map it out. So I'll come back to what happens if you have a successful one, but you've also got the Attic and the Ikako, or Ikako probably, and Makoya, and they're all present to go to next. So when you just drill, I know you're planning to drill 4 horizontal wells if you're a success.
Correct.
What are the various different plans in 2 or 3 weeks' time when you know what you've got?
So the well will spud tomorrow. In 2 weeks, we'll be at TD.
Yeah.
We'll be logging while drilling, so of course we'll see what's charged with hydrocarbons. If it's a successful well in any of those zones, we'll then skid the rig 5 meters to the next cellar and elect whether to take it horizontal or another vertical well. So we have the optionality to pursue various play types after the initial exploration well.
So you've got those 3 things, those named prospects that we know about, and they are all potential with the horizontal wells you're going to drill next.
Yes, sir. Scope and repeatability. That's our mantra right now.
That's it. And you fun enough, your mantra is interesting because the one thing I have detected in speaking to you and the guys in the last few weeks and so on is that you have decided to be a bit flexible. Was that a nice way of putting it? In the last few months, you have been more flexible. You said to me, we have to be a bit more flexible given the oil price and so on. But this is a slightly changed mantra, which you've got as a result of the huge potential in front of you, yeah?
It is. We've always wanted to protect the balance sheet. So we're sitting on just under 14 million of cash. Cash flow on a monthly basis is healthy. We've got a $20 million facility on the prepay and behind us, which I'm sure we'll talk about. So we're walking a balance on the exploration side, pursuing the low risk stuff. So these are low risk exploration wells, three-way structure, against the fault.
Which is good, and I now know that that will take some drilling for the next few months if it's as successful as we think it's going to be.
From a drilling portfolio perspective, we're in good shape. We can be drilling the stuff that we've got now, not only from an exploration perspective, from a development perspective. We're good for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, and you've already said that, flexibility, probably my word, not yours, but it includes multiple drilling pads, all paid for, and you've now, ever since I went there, which is 18 months ago, probably a little more, I'm quite looking forward to going again, actually, because it's changed so much, and you've now got several pads with cellars on that, so your scope and your range is quite substantial, yeah?
Yeah, so one of the lessons we've learned is expand those cellars as quickly as you can, because they're cheaper when you're doing them first, as opposed to trying to add them on after the fact when you've got a drilling rig there and production facilities. So now's the time to put the cellars in.
Yeah.
They're $30,000 each.
And you'll do this all with the one rig.
That's right.
Yeah. Water. We do need to talk about water. You said you were right about that. If you look at what it's like now compared to what it was, you briefly mentioned it. You have put a huge investment into the water situation across the board in your Colombian acreage, haven't you? So why don't you talk us through? It's your friend one day and it's your enemy the other. Water.
Well put. So the aquifer is so strong that the ratio is for every barrel of oil you produce, it's probably 7 or 8 barrels of water. And you have to be able to handle that water.
Yeah.
So initially we were using it as irrigation. We had a license for 2,500 barrels a day. And that has expanded now. We've got 3 very porous and permeable disposal wells that can take upwards of 50,000 barrels a day each. So that prevents us from having to truck. When you have to truck water, your operating costs go through the roof. So it's our friend as well, because when you have oil in place of, say, 40 million barrels, much like we had at Carrizales Norte, you can get 30 to 35% recovery of that number because of the strength of the aquifer.
Yeah.
So you're right, it is our friend and misbehaving enemy once in a while.
And on all the pads, you're going to have a water well.
That's right. And one of the things that affords us is the ability to turn up pump speed. So we can handle more water, we can handle more oil.
Right, yeah.
So Joe, my CFO, wants to have the dial in his office to control the rate of the ESP.
I bet he does, yes. You'll be fighting over that. Well, that's good. And you mentioned, I wanted to mention the balance sheet, but you've done it really, no debt, and you've got this prepay facility. Talk us through that while you're...
Sure. So the initial intent in getting something done with the major industry player, if you will, was having the optionality to pursue A&D possibilities. So we've struck a deal that costs us nothing up front.
Yep.
And if we do nothing in the first 24 months, there's a fee, small fee. But we have the optionality of using that to expand drilling operations and get production up quicker, or to pursue some of the assets that are presenting themselves on the A&D market, in Colombia specifically. So I've mentioned before, some of the bigger players are starting to decant assets. Ecopetrol, for one. Mm-hmm. They've been told to use the proceeds of an asset sale to further their transitional.
Well, we always have this question about diner or dinner.
Right.
And so we can bring that into here. So you actually mentioned it in your last update that you were looking at acquisitions. You just mentioned the A&D process, and that will continue. And therefore, you've effectively hinted that the the facility will be used at that stage, probably, especially if it's something meaningful.
And we have the ability to expand the facility. So it's a very good arrangement for us both.
Yeah.
They get to market all their crude, and we get to utilize that for any kind of opportunity that we see fit. So it's an exciting partnership.
And they take the crude at the wellheads,
They do.
as before.
Yeah. So the transportation risk is removed,
Yeah.
and we're priced off Brent, as you know, and then a
Yeah.
small differential.
And the Brent price of 60 odd, say, would give you a net back of 35.
Approximately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Quick word on license renewal, because I look in the columns and see what people are asking, and they seem to be asking, and I asked you the other day, but they seem to be asking, is there any likelihood or any problem about you renewing all these fantastic licenses you've got, or somebody else coming in with them at all? You've got a great relationship with the ministry and the government and so on. So you happy where you are in terms of renewing these licenses?
We are. So Ecopetrol, at their sole discretion, can extend this into, there's
Right.
a number of ways to go. They can do 2 5-year extensions, or they can grant a brand new 20-section license, 20-year license. So there are 3 groups you have to go through: technical, financial, and legal.
Mm-hmm.
That lobbying effort is underway and aggressive, and we've got an excellent working relationship with Ecopetrol.
Yeah.
We've spent $100 million there in the last 20 months. So they recognize that we have the financial capacity to continue on with that. Keeping in mind that Ecopetrol produces over 700,000 barrels a day.
Yeah.
This is a small piece of business for them. Our country manager has been working with Ecopetrol for the last 25 years, and he's got a great working relationship. We're quite confident that we'll get an extension. It's never guaranteed.
No.
And that lobbying effort is on its way. So for second quarter 2028, we'll have it. There's precedent for it. Other companies have done it, and we expect to be treated the same.
Excellent. I see no reason why that should be the case. Your partners in Colombia, I remember when I was out there, there was a slight changing of the scene at one of the 50% partner, but you seem to be really confident they've clung on enjoying the oil and being in the oil business. And
They certainly do. So it's Petrolco, and it's a high net worth Colombian family. It's been a very good relationship. It's 50-50. There's no carry. They write their checks right alongside ours. In fact, beyond CapEx, we've made them $60 million. So it's a happy partnership.
mm,
We would love to own that 50%, and potentially there's a time and a place to do that,
yeah.
but not when our share price is this low.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the share price being low, and people say, you seem to be running really fast to stand still, as it were.
Good point.
And that does have a ring to it, because, we've ticked so many boxes off already, how things are going, how well things are going, existing, with Canada Norte and potential at Oester and so on. But the share price hasn't really reflected huge amount of success so far. So you must feel, with the cash in the bank, the potential drilling program for the second half, and presumably be added to for the first half of next year as well, is that should be, something should happen about the share price, because there's no reason to feel that the share price is any way adequate.
It's a great buying opportunity, to be sure. This is not our first company, and what we have found is there are 2 facets to running a successful oil and gas company. One is marketing, and the other is operations. We're really good at operations. We're getting better at marketing.
Yeah.
So, we're here all week. My partners are in Switzerland speaking to the retail crowd there over the last 3 days. And we're going to have a North American tour as well. So we want to get the word out. We're trading at less than 1 times cash flow,
Yeah.
which is the lowest I've ever seen in my career. And we're doing everything right.
directors haven't bought any stock there at this price, have they? I know that a lot of people always say we'd like to see directors buying stock, but you've got quite a lot of skin in the game already.
Yeah, my partners and I put in $1 million each, and we like to conduct our personal affairs much like our business affairs, protect the balance sheet.
Yeah,
And from the perspective of buying stock back, we're not adverse to that, but we're 40-year oil men. We've been around the track, and we intend to deliver to shareholders.
yeah. And one day you pay a dividend, maybe.
At 10,000 barrels a day, Malcy will be paying a dividend.
So 10,000 barrels, I've got to ask that as a sort of, as we get towards the end, but 10,000 barrels a day, because the target's changed a little bit in the last 12 months, but the 10,000 barrels a day is still what you have committed to now, isn't it?
Well, I would love to show you the internal forecasting that we've got, but if we
If I
have...
come back to Colombia, I'll be able to have a look in that quiet room.
With a semblance of success on the exploration program, it's a target that's attainable.
Yeah,
And so we're focused on that. In previous companies I've run, that's kind of the threshold we aim for.
yeah. So it's not, the Mattergraph Esther is not totally dependent on how this business runs in the next 6 to 12 months, but it's very important. So it comes in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and you then get the next program of wells as you've already talked about. But I suppose, given what you already have in the basin and the production that you've 4,800 and more, you can see that in terms of not all high risk on the Esther well and across the portfolio.
In drilling these wells, with the morphology that we see from the seismic and the geological work, there's always risk, to be sure. And we're prepared for that, for failure, for dry holes.
Yeah,
One thing we have been successful in doing is bringing down well costs, and we can get these wells drilled very quickly.
yeah,
So if we have some semblance of success on the first well, we'll decide whether or not to go horizontal. But again, we've got 5 zones
yeah,
on a structure that is well defined by 3D with closure. So from a low risk exploration perspective, it's top tier, and the rest of the portfolio kind of matches that. So are we going to have 100% dry holes? I sure don't think so. And we're prepared for the worst, but we're in good shape. We can weather the storm if it doesn't work.
yeah. And this is what you might call the growth trajectory for Arrow, and it all looks extremely solid. I think these are exciting prospects, which will change the face of the company, will they? Absolutely. What you've seen and what
I agree with the word exciting. We're excited. And we've got very talented technical staff down in Bogota, backed up by the Canadian guys.
I've met them. They're very good indeed.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that the 3D was like gold, and that's what it's been. You've spent this time analysing the 3D data that you've got, getting into a situation here.
Well, one of the highlights of the 3D was the definition of the Icaco play
Yeah,
prospect down at the south end. We'd sure like to get that drilled before Christmas. It's as good as it gets. It's got aerial extent. It's got the biggest aerial extent of any of the prospects that we pursued.
all right. So Attic isn't necessarily the next one. I just sort of read it off in order that I saw it, but the Icaco looks.
Icaco looks fabulous. It's got all the makings. 3-way closure up against a fault. Scope, repeatability.
Yeah.
The one thing we're missing is a road.
Right. So I'm trying to imagine where it is.
So at the south end of the block, it's actually
Right.
fairly close to the bridge that gets across the Esther,
Right.
or the Rio Cravo, pardon me. And we think we can have the infrastructure pad and road built there before Christmas.
Oh, that's good. And the season works for you on that.
Yeah, the rainy season is
about-
almost over.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be constructing during the rainy season or the costs go through the roof, but we're in good shape to be poised to jump on the infrastructure as soon as
Yeah.
weather allows.
We've almost run out of time. It feels like we've just been talking.
We've got lots more to talk about.
We have lots more. Is there anything I've missed? Is there anything you'd like to tell the viewers what might expect?
From a hair perspective, I think geological risk is always there. And I think the street knows that. And the street knows that we're fairly keen on these prospects. We're trying to expand our presence in the basin. There's always risk in doing that. And when we look at an asset, we always look at it as, can we double it?
Yeah.
So there's always risk in doing that. And from an HSE perspective, we're good operators. We've employed over 6,000 Colombians.
Yeah.
So we're well recognized. We operate to a Canadian standard, so ESG is well taken care of and always have.
Yeah.
And so we're comfortable in our skin. I think we've got the risk profile is well balanced.
Sounds good to me. My normal last question is, where do you see Arrow in 12 to 18 months' time? I got a message. Someone said, can you ask them what they think it's going to be like in 5 years' time? I'll go with my bit, 12 to 18 months, but if you had a 5-year dream as well, that might be, at least it would answer the question of one or two of my readers.
That 10,000 barrel a day threshold, I think, is attainable with what we have in the barn today. To go beyond that, from a drilling perspective, we need more blocks. And we're hopeful that Colombia shifts focus on granting more blocks. They haven't done any of that for the last 3 years. And so potentially a new government will change the complexion of getting bigger blocks out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are other entities out there that have size that are stressed and balance sheets aren't in order. We look at that all the time. So we've viewed ourselves as being fixers on this particular company, and it's been successful. So we know how to clean up. And there are a number of entities out there that need some cleaning. So that would be beyond the 10,000 barrel a day threshold.
That'll be the diner for the longer term.
That's right.
Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Always stimulating, Malcy.
I should comment to the viewers that Marshall's only just flown in, but his bags didn't arrive in the...
I'm underdressed, I apologize.
Just apologise for being underdressed, and it won't happen again. As long as SAS.
I've got 2 pairs of underwear for the next 5 days.
Well, good thing we got you a meeting on a Monday, didn't it? So, yeah, I've been Malcolm Graham-Wood. It's been an absolute pleasure yet again to speak to Marshall Abbott, the CEO of Arrow Exploration. Thank you very much for flying in, especially, and talking to us. You have a good week in London with all your colleagues. I'm confident that everything is very well looked after at Arrow, and we'll come back next time and the share price will have reacted to some of this fantastic acreage you're going to drill.
Thanks for your support, Malcy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.